This is Atz's video, The Myth of DBD Balance.
Anytime there's a new update on DBD, we get an avalanche of people on the forums and across social media declaring very loudly that the game is about to die. And it's about to die because it's too one-sided. And don't get me wrong, I don't see a problem if you think that the game leans a bit towards survivor or leans a bit towards killer, but if you're one of those people that really believes that this game is extremely survivor-sided or extremely killer-sided, I think you're believing in a myth. And in this video, I'm going to try to explain why I think that is. Now, if we want to settle this debate in the most objective way possible, the first thing we should look at is statistics. Unfortunately, the developers have not shared them with us recently, but the last time did, they were hovering around the 60% kill rate in favor of killer. And according to them, this is the ideal number that they aim for. And
do you guys think that the kill rates have gone up or down with the last patch? I'm actually not sure. I feel like they probably haven't changed at all. I think they're probably about the same. You think they've gone up? Really? I don't know, man. I feel like a lot of killers really relied on 3 gens and slowdowns and like stacking all that shit that they can't do anymore. But at the same time, solo queue is super rough getting healed up by yourself and making that even harder. Yeah, that's rough too. So I don't know, man. I feel like it hasn't really changed much. Didn't say haven't escaped. So 3 days ago, I escaped like 2 matches the entire day. The next stream, I escaped more than half of them. It's just DBD. That's just how it be sometimes. So it's completely random. The matchmaking is just all over the place. Yeah, it's just, you're just rolling the dice every time you play this game. But I don't know. I feel like they probably haven't changed much. Maybe gone up a little bit because of people killing themselves on Hook or disconnecting a bit more. But I feel like it probably only was a couple of percent. But we have no idea. We're just guessing.
This is not initially very intuitive. Why would they aim for 60% instead of 50% if they want to balance the game right on the middle? But it actually does make sense when you account for the asymmetrical nature of Dead by Daylight. If we have 4 players on one side and 1 player on the other, and we assume that each player has a small chance to make a massive mistake, this only benefits the killer. And it doesn't need to be mistakes, it can be anything. Let's say that every player in the lobby has a chance to make a huge blunder and then quit on the spot, or their controller dies at the worst possible time, something that automatically loses them the game. On killer, we have a small chance for this happening, but on survivor, the chances for at least one of these things happening across all of them are actually much higher. And guess
yes, that's a really good point that a lot of people seem to always ignore. How many times do you hear the argument, killers can't make any mistakes and survivors can make all these mistakes, and it's just, you know, it's so much more stressful for the killer. That is just so, this is exactly like what I'm talking about. Because there are more survivors, there are more potential for mistakes, and it's not hard to think of scenarios where survivors make mistakes that single-handedly lose them the entire game. Now, killers can also make mistakes that single-handedly lose them the entire game. You just feel it more as killer because you're entirely responsible for that mistake happening. Whereas if you're playing survivor, someone else's mistake might result in you losing. So how many times you get like a really terrible Meg that just like, you know, dead hards into a wall or something like that, and she goes down at 5 gens. And now the killer is a face-camping Bubba.
Max level.
Jesus Christ. That was really loud. Zuck, thank you for the 7 months. And then, you know, you actually have time to face camp that person to death now. And the reason that you do is because the guy went down so early because they really just made a mistake. So you can snowball out of the way so quickly on both sides. I don't think this favors like killer or survivor. I think a single glaring mistake can completely throw the game on both sides. But for some reason, always people will just lean towards killers can't make any mistakes, survivors can make a billion mistakes. Even less so accurate now with Dead Hard getting significantly removed, so, or nerfed rather. So I'm really glad that you brought up this point because mistakes are impactful on both sides to an equal amount, I think. You also think survivors can make more comebacks because they can each have a perk that have a comeback, or a killer can have 1 or 2 for a whole set of comeback perks. Yeah, but it doesn't necessarily work 1-to-1 like that. I get what you're saying. Like the survivors can all have like, they can all have adrenaline, and so they can all come back towards the end or something like that. But even in that scenario, that's because the killer allowed them to get to the end of the game. So I feel like some of that still has to do with the killer as well. I get what you're saying. But I think Survivor is higher highs and lower lows. Yeah, it's much more brutal. Like, as a killer, if you miss a swing at a pallet or something like that, yeah, that sucks. But, if you have all 4 survivors hit a fat adrenaline, that feels so much worse. But at the same time, there are more survivors that can make mistakes that end the game entirely for them. So higher highs and lower lows, I guess, is the end result of that point.
What if one survivor dies? That typically means that other survivors die with them, because that's how the game works in DBD. So the average looks good, but maybe this isn't enough for some people. You could argue that if you have a person with $0 in a room and a person with $1 million in a room, their average doesn't really matter. It doesn't actually describe the reality of these people. So maybe the average kill rate doesn't describe the reality of the average Dead by Daylight game. But again, if we go by their own statistics, they have claimed that since the introduction of MMR, which is the new matchmaking system, the games are now more fair on both sides. The way the MMR works is that it tries to pair average players with other average players that do more or less the same in terms of performance, and this should mean that on average, each game has a better chance than before at being less one-sided. And this, again, is not enough for some people. Some people are like, well, I don't care about the average because I'm a very good player. I'm actually top highest 1% MMR. I'm extremely good at the game, and at my level...
Oh my god, how did he interview every single person that plays this game? That's amazing.
The game is clearly one-sided, either for killer or for survivor. And this is where the interesting part of the video now truly begins. Even if we assume that both sides, killer and survivor, are high MMR and presumably high level, there are still a lot of factors that can easily decide
It's the pyramid.
which side will win. Most important, in my opinion, is experience. If you have a side with 5,000 hours and one side with 500 hours, the side with more hours will more often than not win. There's also the matter of resources. In this game, you are allowed, but not forced, to bring a lot of strong items, add-ons, and so on. If one side brings almost nothing and the other one is stacked, the stacked side will often win.
This is the interesting part. I love this discussion.
If one of the sides is just chilling and not trying very hard, they don't have a massive advantage over someone that is actually trying their best. And finally, of course, there's luck. Sometimes you can be objectively better than your opponent and still lose due to bad RNG or some random thing that you could not control.
Okay, so this is the pyramid that I saw him post on Twitter, and I thought this was the interesting topic to go over. That is... This is a really fun discussion, I think. First off, at the very top, experience. I don't think experience is at the top, not in Dead by Daylight. This is not a game in which your skill is accurately rewarded in a 1-to-1 ratio. I think experience is under resources. I think by resources, he means everything you bring to the match, be it the killer, your perks, the map offering, it's all that stuff, right? That's what resources are. I think that is more important than experience. Not to say experience isn't important. Experience, I would say, is right under that, but I would say resources are more important. Because that, I could be the best player in the entire world playing Trapper versus, a decent Blight. The decent Blight is going to do better than me most of the time. So it's not really a matter of experience, it's what you bring into the match. Can you say resources can be dependent on RNG? If we're going via the actual map itself, then yes, RNG is a component of resources. But yeah, I would say resources are more important in this game than experience, which is why it's so stupid to take this game seriously, in my opinion. Pretty much every seriously taken game, experience is the most important thing that, on this pyramid, experience is at the top. This is what an actual balanced, competitive game looks like. You can give an unexperienced person all the resources and they'd still be shit. That's what I'm saying. Experience is right under resources. I'm not saying it's not important, but it is less important than what you bring. I think what you bring in is more impactful in a match. Now, if you look at it in a super exaggerated way, obviously, a Blight with Alkring and Compound 33, but it's his first game of DBD, is going to do worse than a Trapper with, 10,000 hours. If you take it to extremes like that, of course, it's going to just not go in that favor. But I'm talking about average versus average. I think that resources are more impactful. Gideon Pallet Plant versus any M1 killer, he was 4 out most of the time. I mean, that's another example of where resources are out of control of experience. And that's the thing. Like the map of the game, for example, is a good example of where your skill as a player doesn't really matter very much. That's RNG, not resources. Right, but RNG and resources are kind of linked together because the resources that you get are influenced by RNG. You know what I mean? So there is some crossover in the discussion there. Why is my cable so tangled? I don't know. I truly don't know. Hey, that's here. Thank you for the 4 months, man. By the definition that he goes in the video. Okay, I mean, fair enough. Either way, I think resources are absolutely at the top. Experience, very important, but not quite as important as what you bring into the match. Now, what about mindset? Mindset is also an important thing too. And I think mindset is placed correctly. Because if I bring Mother Daughter's Ring, but I just play a chill game, it's not going to, like, my mindset there is not gonna, like, negatively impact me. But I do think that your mindset when you play a match is very impactful towards the outcome of a match. So if you go in playing it like you're in a tournament, obviously that's going to be much more of an impact than if you're just, just playing for just in a chill way, I think. Mindset's also affected by the map. Oh, like retroactively as you load in the map, you have to change the like how hard you're trying or something like that. I suppose that's true, but I feel like a lot of people in the DBD community don't do that. I wish people did that more in the community. They gauged the overall difficulty of their match and then basically sweated accordingly, like to the amount of resources that they have. For example, if they're playing, I don't know, if they're playing Spirit and they get like Wrecker's Yard, which is a pretty killer-sided map, then I would hope most players would go, okay, I don't have to sweat that much. This is going to be easier than normal. Whereas if they get, Red Forest as a killer with no mobility, they're going to go, okay, shit, I have to play a bit sweatier now or I'm going to lose. That's 100% true. Mindset affects every decision you make before and during a trial, including the resources you choose. That's an interesting point, too. So, is your argument that mindset should be above resources? Because if you have a sweaty mindset, it means you bring in stronger resources? I would say, yeah, I would agree, Worthless Tree, that they're more linked than... It's kind of hard to separate them, because, yeah, your mindset determines what you bring. If someone brings Garden of Joy, you see that it's a ticket to Tunnel City. Yeah, like, that's what I'm saying. I wish people adjusted on the fly like that. If you can tell you're about to have a really rough game, then, sweat it out. That's totally fine. But if you can see that your match is not going to be very difficult, then, maybe don't slug it 5 gens. Just you don't have to go that hard. And then at the bottom, there's RNG. I think despite the game being so incredibly RNG based, I do think RNG is at the bottom. I think that is correctly placed because the difference between a bad map and a good map is significant, but typically, if you bring Alkring, it will overcome that. If you're extremely good and much better than the other team, you can overcome that. If you play like a sweaty bitch, you can probably overcome that. You know what I mean? All of the things above RNG mitigate the negative effects of RNG a bit. I'm not saying it's not impactful because this game is very impacted by RNG, but I do think RNG being at the bottom is important, and that's true. Does an experience also affect how effective RNG is? Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, RNG is, I think, at the bottom because, like, someone actually also just says a good point. As often as RNG fucks you over, it also rewards you, and you get kills because of RNG and stuff like that. So, I think despite the fact on a game-to-game basis, RNG does dictate games very frequently, on average, it doesn't actually do that much. Because you'll win some and you'll lose some because of the RNG. But yeah, on a case-to-case basis, you can feel like the RNG is completely dictating the game, because it does sometimes. The 2 games on the not shows later shows by RNG might be more impactful than the pyramid shows. Oh, it's like one, like a super busted map and like for one side. We'll see. Needs to be a Venn diagram, not a period. Or period. That's a pretty funny point. The 1,000 Blight streak means RNG doesn't mean anything. It's everything else that matters. Yeah, that's actually a good way to put it. Momo's streak pretty much shows that the top 3 are more important, because if RNG was more important, he probably wouldn't get that, because then the experience, resources, mindset would not matter as much. That's a really good example, actually. All right, let's keep going. I love this whole pyramid discussion. I think that's like just a really interesting topic. Overall, pretty much all I would do is switch resources and experience, but experience is very close to resources. Pretty much a minor nitpick, but I think everything else is pretty appropriately placed.
And that, for the most part, is a necessary evil. And alright, now that we've laid all of this out, we can begin to account for these factors. First, we will invite several players, all of which have thousands and thousands of hours of experience, to make sure that they're all on a level playing field and to account for the experience side. Next, we're going to tell them to use anything and everything they want in the game to make sure that they all have access to the exact same resources on each side. Then we're going to ask them to try their absolute hardest and do anything it takes to win.
So this is like Wispy's tournament. I Otz commented on one of my videos about this, and I didn't know what he was talking about, but now I know. A player named Wispy had a tournament, I think it was like a year ago, where they had pretty much exactly this. They allowed anything and everything. It's, every tournament in this game has restrictions and stuff like that, because obviously the game is super unbalanced. But he did an experiment where there were absolutely 0 restrictions whatsoever. And it was pretty telling. Like, everyone thought survivors were going to win every single game, but actually it wasn't bad at all. It was actually surprisingly balanced. The maps were set for Wispy's tourney. That was a big difference. Oh, were they? It wasn't just random? I don't remember. Because, yeah, maps are going to be a huge determining factor. Did you guys... Oh, I guess I'll just keep watching.
To make sure that everyone is on the same mindset. And, of course, we'll be playing multiple times to account and negate the factor of luck. What we're essentially doing here is getting some of the best players in the world to show us what each side can do when there's no limits and they do their absolute best. And after 5 games of pure sweat from both sides, the killers managed to kill on average 2.4 survivors. This is exactly 60%. And even though it's a very small sample of just 5 games, it's actually quite in line with the results that we've seen in similar experiments that have been done in the past. For example, this showcase hosted by Wispy had 30 games, and on average the killers got 2.16 kills, which is 54%. Overall, we can say, I think pretty confidently, that across the board and even at the extremes, Dead by Daylight is objectively pretty well balanced. Oof. But make no mistake, the only reason there's a semblance of balance is because both sides have access to some really insane things. And
that is 100% true. So if you take a tournament in which there's no limits, you have a expectation of what's going to be in the match, right? And if you do that, it actually ends up being pretty balanced, because you can bring ridiculous shit versus ridiculous shit. And if you just smash those 2 things together, yeah, it's pretty balanced. But the problem with, your standard matchmaking game is it's never an equal amount of things brought in. You're never getting equal skill, you're never getting equal maps, you're never getting equal effort put in, you're never getting equal add-ons and perks. It just never happens. There's always someone that's sweating more than the other side. It's super rare you just get a match where everyone is bringing an equal amount of everything, because you have to rely on the matchmaking working and people not really being sweaty about it on both sides, and also the map being okay. It's just like, it's so hard to get an actual even match that although the game at the highest level is actually pretty even and balanced, you never really get that. Is this a useful framework to look at DBD through at all? With solo being the majority and there being so many killers, isn't this a wasteful viewpoint? I wouldn't say it's a wasteful viewpoint. It just doesn't really mean much in terms of the overall balance. It's an interesting tidbit more than it is a useful statement on the game's balance. Yeah, I would say that's right. It's cool to know that at the top level with no restrictions, it's pretty balanced, but it also doesn't matter, because that's not necessarily what you're doing every day. You're getting tossed in a blender every single day. Speaking of blenders, I bought a little magic bullet at Target, and I'm having fruit smoothies every day. Shit is amazing. I've got like pomegranate, strawberries, blackberries, put in some Greek yogurt. Man, that's just good. You should buy a magic bullet. Not sponsored. #ad. Anyway. Overall, I would say yes. At the top level, it's remarkably balanced, but that doesn't matter in your standard game. all it tells you is the game is only balanced when the best go against one another, but it's not even balanced that way. Just because players are of equal skill doesn't mean it's balanced, because you can have the best killer in the world playing Trapper against the best survivors in the world, and he's going to lose every single game. They need to also bring the resources in that match what the survivors are bringing in as well. And then it gets complicated because now you're comparing two different things. You're comparing the strength of a killer to the strength of a survivor to survive. And you're comparing separate roles, and asymmetric games make this so complicated, so... Started making smoothies into... Oh, yeah, I need to put, like, protein in there and fucking gain some weight. That sounds like a great idea. Technically, you can always sweat and you always either stomp have a frame match. I mean, that's true. All right, I guess let's watch these games.
How insane are we talking? Well, I'm gonna show you my 2 favorite games from this showcase, and you're gonna be able to see for yourself. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
This is a 50-50 though.
No, it's not a 50-50. It's 100, because there's a more. Oh,
But
it's a
is it
50-50 that we could
Chapo?
go to... Okay, it's a 50-50 that we could go to Disturbed World, big map, lots of RNG, huge spread.
Is that a known thing for sweaty players using Crotus Pren offerings? That seems risky, because you could also go to Father Campbell's, which has actually a ton of dead zones. It's got that one busted tile next to the shack, and that could be really rough. But high walls? Well, high walls for what? Like, what does that matter? Oh, for like nurse, I guess?
Or the more lenient chapel, which is still pretty insane if you know how to play
Oh,
it.
did they not know what killer is coming? Oh, that's interesting.
Insane.
Yeah, that's true. Chapel is not a map up at all.
Oh,
the
there you go.
pallets are really safe. And it depends. You can have good gen locks for killer though.
Oh, Starstruck Yakuyoke Amulet, Mother Daughter Ring Spirit.
Awaken the Wham.
Holy, and they got
Okay.
Disturbed War, which
Shit.
is the...
I mean, that's pretty fucking strong. That's pretty goddamn strong. I wouldn't say it's quite the level of nurse, but it's scratching nurse's ass for sure. This makes Spirit like the best killer in the game, or like 1% away from it. It's so good.
better of the 2 maps. Oh,
What's the build? Starstruck Agi? I mean, yeah, that's gonna be good. And they got Campbell's Chapel, which is a small map, so that means these are gonna be disgusting. Starstruck Agi on Spirit on a small map is like, you're gonna win every time. I'm willing to bet that the killer wins this match, just based on... This is a fun prediction. I think the killer's gonna win based on the map being very small. Wait, it's Asylum? Oh shit, was it Asylum? No, that's Father Campbell's. That's the little carnival area.
The pallets
What?
are really safe.
Is it not?
And it depends. You can
Yeah.
have. good
Oh
gen
no,
locks for
he's
killer,
just showing the map. Oh god damn it, that confused me. Okay. Okay, never mind.
Yakuyoke Amulet, Mother Daughter Ring
Okay, so okay. Okay, that does change things a little
though.
bit.
Awaken the Wham.
Shit, maybe not now. It's interesting how much the map is a determining factor of guessing how the map is going to go immediately, or how the match is going to go immediately. Okay, I feel less confident that the killer's going to win this now. Now I actually don't know. If it was Father Campbell's Chapel, I think Starstruck Agi Spirit with these add-ons wins every time. But without that, I don't know. Is that Awaken Awareness? Whatever, where you pick up somebody?
and they
Okay.
got Disturbed War, which is the better of the 2 maps. Okay. Oh,
Okay. No.
Yeah, I don't know who's
this
gonna win
is
this,
a very
actually.
all or nothing,
That seems
though.
like it'd be a rougher Spirit.
Alright.
This is
She
gonna
found someone
work
really
out.
fast,
That
though.
is the question.
This is a big... Ooh, that's a thing
Cheeky
that can
hit.
happen? She tried to get the hit through the little gap?
Can you hit that?
I want to lower
I
their
don't know.
volume a little bit because I don't want to talk over them. There's going to be a cacophony of horseshit.
I think the survivor doesn't want to find out. Right,
This
so...
one, this one knows.
Are you familiar with the numbers of these add-ons, Hens?
What's that? What?
Damn.
Perfect
Nice.
timing on the drawback.
That was really fucking good. Damn.
Oh, excellent
perfect
play
timing.
from...
Super well played.
Or Laurie that just waited the right amount to psych the killer out.
The thing though, with these add-ons though,
Okay.
you can just try it again 2
Nice
fucking
shot.
seconds later.
Fell twice for the same trick.
That's why it sucks so much going against these add-ons, because like even if you make an amazing prediction like that, it just doesn't fucking
So
matter.
quiet, it's not- Nice shot. I
how
think
did
they
she
dropped
know?
from the same side. They dropped from the same side, didn't they?
Spirit audio still
Now,
bugged?
this
No, I
someone's
don't think so.
All the way in the corner. Can you actually
Yeah,
make
there's
this
no way.
work? That's
This
the
is a
question.
terrible map for this. I'm not even sure Starstruck will happen. Oh wait, it did happen. These 2 are hit. Oh, I don't know what is happening. No!
Okay, based on this already, I am switching my opinion to the Spirit wins this. Because they're going to get a hook here. This is going to be an immediate snowball into a second hook, and we're going to have 2 hooked people or 1 slug, 1 hooked within 30 seconds of the match starting. That is so tough to come back from.
Get out of there, Ace! No.
Oh, yeah, that's...
Now we have 2 downs right next to each other.
Oh, whoa! And the other person, other person is...
Honestly, I almost would have just hooked them, right? Because it's first... I mean, obviously, I'm not as good as these guys. I feel like with the other hook being that close, wouldn't you want to hook them? Because, I mean, I don't know. Am I crazy? Maybe they just assumed somebody else was right next to it or something? Starstruck still up? Yeah, but that's a pretty big gamble that someone with Starstruck is still near you and you're going to get to them within 15 seconds. Like, Starstruck ends when it gets to here. Like, it doesn't last very long. And he's not even sure if he got it. He wants 2 stages because it's better than 2 hooks. I guess time efficiency-wise, with only 2 survivors working on gens, you can confirm a kill before they get them back up. Or before they can recover from that. So all the survivor's going to do is crawl away. I guess. Like I said, I don't play comp. I don't really know the comp strats, so I'm not even criticizing. I'm just curious.
He didn't see it coming.
Oh my god. That is actually really brilliant.
What a build. I respect that. The fact that they went...
I'm surprised he's recovering under the hook.
A lot of courage from the killer. This
Wouldn't you want to crawl away like immediately so she can't camp both?
Fall right off with a bit of a bad start.
It actually seems like an all or nothing strategy.
Yep, it really is. That's so crazy. With agitation though, her terror radius becomes a bit larger, so it's actually a bit easier to hit everyone with Starstruck.
Okay, now he's crawling away.
Predictably, nothing's gonna happen here for a little while. But...
So I feel like she's gonna lose 2 gens, and then he's gonna go second stage.
They can pick up the ace.
No, they can't!
Ooh, the body blocking, nice.
She's body blocking! This is crazy, there's only 1 person.
Oh, man. This fucking tile sucks.
Stage 2!
Oh, did they get it in time?
No, it didn't happen.
Oh my god,
it didn't happen.
Ooh.
But 2 downs.
2 down.
That's a good trade.
Only 1 stage for the killer so far. Now the build is known. Now it's all out of the water.
Kanyo takes the prime.
Wait. There's no way. Starstruck could trigger again? Hence, fill me in. Why is the killer not picking up?
That's a good question, Odds. Hence, fill me in. Why is he not picking up?
I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe he wants to get everything right now. No, he's going back for the hooks. I think he was looking for Laurie.
Oh, please. We need to pick up the right person here. Deliverance.
They're stacking on top of each other.
In the back of your mind,
That's
thinking
pretty
that
smart.
This person could have it. Oh, they want to see with awakened awareness. Interesting. They're scouting ahead.
It's smart not putting him on the immediate hook.
Oh, the pickup is coming through, but no, it's not.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, I guess she wants Starstruck value.
Wait, how'd she know?
Ooh, I think she gets it here, right?
100% exposed.
Oh, she gets value here.
I think 100% going down also.
She's dying corner.
Top corner, but...
Oh,
no.
Okay, at this state, I think that's just straight up a win for the killer. Like, I can't think of any scenario in which the killer does not win this. Yes, it's only 2 hooks, but look at the state everyone's in. One's on the ground, 1 just got unhooked. They're all injured, which means at most 1 person is on a gen. Wait. Yeah, at most 1 person's on a gen. So this seems like the killer just wins.
What is happening, dude? Hold me. I'm scared. I'm not playing in this and I'm scared. This is awful. Alright, the killer did a bit of an assumption there.
Pretty much whoever's here is guaranteed to die. But as long as they split up like this, it's smart.
But it's against a hard corner that they cannot easily escape from.
Waiting for his power.
Oh no.
I mean, you just fucked here.
Nice job. Wait, insane dead hard?
Was that a dead hard?
What?
That was an insane play.
Excuse me?
Ooh, nice swing.
What is going on? Alright.
The prediction coming out.
That was
They're just in a snowball now. Like there's no way to come back from this. I wouldn't say there's no way.
Unless it was a graphic bug, but
actually, 8 reset. That's pretty good.
Maybe it wasn't that hard. It certainly did look like it, and this girl should have it if she's been hooked. But we'll check. We'll definitely check.
That's smart.
Really nice. They fake the.
That's not gonna work.
With agitation, a bit of patience would have.
Actually, yeah, I feel like he shouldn't have immediately swung there. With agitation, couldn't he have chased the ace down and actually hit him?
And these add-ons are just showing their full strength in here. Modern Ring gives a whooping 40% extra speed, which is already
I think
insane.
Ace
on
is
a killer
safe.
this
Yeah, he's
fast.
fine.
And the Yakuyoki Amulet allows you to use your power for 3.5 extra seconds. On top of that, because of the way the spirit is coded, it also indirectly makes you recover a significant amount faster. About 6%
Which is
faster
stupid,
than
by the
Modern Ring.
way.
And a Starstruck happens with 5 seconds left to go.
Wow,
Wow.
this snowball is
Yeah,
unreal on
the
this
Spirit
one.
wins this 100%.
And this is, mind you, one of the worst maps.
Confirming the kill
survivors
here is the smart idea.
could send the killer.
Ah, I got him out.
That's
But you can still
crazy.
do it. Honestly, a tunnel here would be fine.
Uh-oh. For a
Does
brief...
she make anything? I think she makes this one.
Killer waits.
Borrow time, but
that's
I don't think you can get to
insanely
anything. Yeah,
timing.
she's fucking dead.
Oh, a crouch happened to try to throw the killers off. Remember that when you crouch, you do become a bit quieter.
And that's it, right?
I
She's
don't
dead
think
now.
Lindsay has
That's
anything.
over.
Does she?
That looks like the first kill.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
game's over.
Oh,
One
pick
dead
up
with
happen.
3 gens
Killer with
remaining.
an M1
Killer
to-
wins
as if
every
to
time.
anticipate the decisive. And lethal,
Two.
Awakened Awareness did show briefly where the survivors were, but
I guess it's less
Seems like Killer is
guaranteed, but I'm
interested in
still
the
pretty
juiciest
damn
of
sure
the
the Spirit
targets.
wins.
you, the Ada. Oh no, he completely
So-
ignored the ace.
It's interesting that this is a very survivor-sided map, and Spirit is not the
Right,
strongest killer, and the Spirit
took
is
chances
still
to find the 2 healing survivors, but it seems difficult. A Starstruck is now
pretty
full up.
handily winning.
Wait, excuse me, how?
Okay. Difficult, but not impossible.
Does she have a third add-on to just get a GPS read on the
She
survivors?
can phase for
How?
so long. Yeah,
That is
these
insane,
add-ons
hello?
are stupid.
What kind of clues
Spirit with
and hints
MDR.
does she
Of course,
follow to
of course.
find them there? All right, well, Spirit's gonna
Spirit is still
zoom
top
across the
3.
map.
Yeah, of course,
She's
of course.
gonna
Spirit is still
heal
extremely good. I'm not pretending she's not good.
cells
Oof,
split
close.
on the survivor's body.
This guy's really good at Spirit.
yeah,
Oh, I have no
good
doubt.
luck.
I have no doubt everyone here is extremely good.
That was insane.
Yeah, nothing to do.
Oh my god, the FOB tech! Oh my
extra
lord,
round.
Zaka
Never mind,
making
Spirit's
a
trash, got
4-1
spun,
look
L.
survivor
Pepe
side
loser.
against a modern Spirit. That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. That being said, I think it's pretty obvious. That
Xenos
this-
killer here? Yeah, he's
Dan
extremely
has
good.
been on the ground for almost 4 full minutes. Kaz, the Ada, was the last hope of this team, and it's now crumbling away.
Yeah,
What a
so-
match, dude. What a match.
Do we even need to
Awakened
like watch the rest of this?
Spirit.
Nah, no, it ends there.
Wow.
Okay. So, how does this relate back to the whole pyramid thing? I'm trying to like see why this video, why these matches are relevant to the whole pyramid thing. Watch the second to get it. Okay, we can do that. Honestly, let's just
It's
skip to the
about
end of this because
that.
we already know he wins.
Wow.
Who did they send to Larry's? That's
Oh
that's a
my
rage.
god, that's not good for you. You're all gonna die, you
That's
fools.
a rage.
Is Blight good on this
Lots
map?
of rage.
Okay.
Right. So
Interesting
what
build.
does Larry's have? Good pallets. What does this killer do? Eat pallet for breakfast? Like this is impossible. How are they gonna win
this
this?
is-
He's
Okay,
got
no
One of his
need to
worst
steal.
maps. I don't really know.
33. And he's already found someone who doesn't need it.
Oh,
This is impossible. There's
He does
no
have
way.
compound 33, which is pretty
who
fucking
would
nuts.
win, pallets or compound 33?
What? What is happening?
Oh shit,
My
that was good.
god.
Very nice. First hit coming in, and now Dan knows it's compound 33. Pallets are useless. The thing about
He should on
that
this
is
map, but
they
the
have a
add-on
ton
makes
of
it better.
pallets,
Yeah,
but, like,
I can agree with
I
that.
don't know how
So,
useful that is.
I told you that corrupt would destroy.
That add-on is so stupid. Why the fuck is that add-on like that? Ooh, that was not a good stun.
This good pallets mean nothing against this killer. They're just
Oh, it
a
wasn't
little
a stun, never mind.
suggestion.
The pallets are go-
Okay,
Ooh.
a styptic was. Yeah,
Oh, he brought
styptic
his styptic.
used
That
in
was
the
a really good
very first
styptic.
chase. Imagine how
Interesting,
important
let's
this
get
chase
going.
is.
What does
to your
Compound
standard
33
body
do?
in just
Compound
a little
33
bit.
allows you to smash into pallets and break them. But the thing is, as you're spending the 1.5 seconds of breaking the pallet, your power recovers. So you can essentially smash into the pallet, and by the time the pallet breaks, you have your power again instantly. It's so stupid. I don't understand why it's in the game still. It's so fucking strong.
Oh, a full stun happened. The only way you're.
Oh yeah,
gonna
you also
find
hinder
any
them
time
too,
against
because
this killer
fuck
with
you,
his
why
own.
not?
Impressive. Doesn't mean anything. Oh, this dude, this
get away,
ace is
though.
actually playing this insanely well.
I don't think you can get a hit here.
Oh my god, the fact that that was even close.
They crossed
Larry's
the
does make
compound
those scenarios really hard because
No,
there's a
that's
turn
not-
every
no, no.
2
No,
feet.
no, no, they
Don't
don't get away from this, do they?
Nah, he's dead here, but
Oh.
I wonder if we'll try to actually go for the down or just brute force it. Ain't brute
Alright,
forcing it.
okay.
And
Running around this is smart. It'll just waste as much time as possible.
I can't believe how well that was handled by the ace.
Okay, that's gonna lose him 2 gens though.
I'm living up.
That chase
but
took.
that
This
was-
diptych
That
it was
stick
the single.
Actually disgusting.
Ooh,
They
triple
didn't
pain
let
res
go.
though.
They didn't let go quickly enough, and that's a bad sign.
Why were all 3 of them on the same gen? I guess because they want to get the middle gen out of the way quickly. That seems so risky for like corrupt intervention. Oh, we did have corrupt, true. It is one of the worst gens. I get that, but not getting off of it in regards to pain res, that is a that's like a solo queue mistake there.
All three there.
The Blight doesn't know which gen.
It doesn't
He's
matter.
going
You can
to the other
just
side of the map.
check. You don't need barbecue if you drop it faster than light. You are the barbecue.
I gotta say, I fucking love how excited like Ots gets about all this stuff. This is genuinely entertaining.
Oh, Floods? Does he have any interest in seeing what's ahead? No, he doesn't care. Okay, he did have a quick glance, and I think we're now having express ticket to Tunnel Town. Oh, he expected a dead heart. Could it be?
Oof.
Where did he go?
I don't know. I think our survivor might have just off the record and maybe doesn't need.
I wonder if he has
I think I heard him though, if I'm not mistaken. He's making it to the other side of the map now.
God, that worrying about
This
Dead
is
Hard
I'm
took
here,
so
I'm
much
hearing
time.
him, do
I
intros.
No,
Wait, no, you're right. It's just ace things, I guess.
Yeah.
See, this game is not going well for the killer. He has focused all of his effort on just the ace, while the other 3 survivors have had basically as much time as they want. He's not going to get another pain resonance from this, so I would say the killer is going to lose this one. He's just in a really bad spot. He has DS, but it's fucking Blight.
DS coming out.
Now Dead Heart will be an issue.
Oh, does he have Dead Hard after that?
He
Killer
decides to leave him.
actually
completely.
decides
Okay.
to just straight up leave.
I think leaving him was a smart choice there.
Okay.
When there's another free
Well,
hit
that's
2
a
feet
good
away, I would go for that.
Very quick tag.
This area is not good for Blight though. Even with the
Power is on cooldown.
even
so
with this
breaking
like
manually
with the
seems
add-on,
to be
I don't
good.
know, man. This is a pretty shit map for Blight. Ot said this is evidence that DS was a good perk.
That probably was not exactly what they had
That's a
planned.
little silly.
Oh
DS
my God, did I-
DS is not a good perk. The only time DS is good is if you go down basically at a pallet or a jungle gym or something like that. At which point, why did you go down at the pallet or jungle gym when you had a resource to use? You know what I mean? DS, I think, I don't know. We can have a little side discussion about DS here. The only time you get value from DS is if you go down in a tile. At which point you have to wonder why you went down in that tile to begin with. You know, a perk's not bad if you're in the middle of nowhere. Sprint burst, checkmate, atheist. DS is 50-50, really strong or useless, not worth the coin flip. I don't know. I don't know why they just don't make it 5 seconds again. Only argument you can see is you can get hit with base BT and then use Dead Hard. Yeah, yeah, it's true. I guess, look, I guess in comp it's probably less stupid because you're going to get tunneled every single game. So if you have something that even has a small chance of giving you more value, it's more consistent than a regular match where you're not guaranteed to be tunneled every game. And I know you're going to go XD solo queue, I get tunneled every game. No, you don't. You don't get tunneled every game. In comp, they do tunnel every game. So at the very least, I would say in comp, it's probably the perk has more value. But I would say in an average solo queue match, it has very little value.
Just see a visionary so they can find gens. This is so funny. This is so funny. Someone has the Felix perk visionary.
Oh,
my
to be gen
God.
efficient, that is very smart.
Yeah, just to call out gens and maybe get through the corrupt.
Yeah, I don't see how the Blight wins this. He's not going to get a kill quick enough for it to snowball.
Wait,
Did he?
they struggle to get to a pain rush hook, presumably.
Because Ada was blocking the god pallet.
Yeah, I think so.
Wait, did he just not hook her?
The one that spawns with.
Oh, this game's super over.
Wow. And
Nice stun.
another proper stun that prevents our killer from just.
The survivors send themselves here? I think so, yeah.
Okay.
It's funny because like no one wants to go to Larry's, but if you know you're in a competition in which both sides are going to bring the strongest thing that they can bring, burning Larry's makes a lot of sense because it's good against Blight and it's good against Nurse. So Larry's is actually a pretty solid counter to the strongest killer, so it makes sense why they burn that.
That was a great fake, but the mate read it perfectly and got the stun just in time.
Yeah, and she has another pallet here. Goodness gracious, this one chases. They
Another
popped the
stiff pick.
stick?
Another stiff pick.
Excuse me?
God, the stiff pick value has been insane this match. I don't think she can get this,
My
right?
lord.
There were 2 chases where the killer had to had 1 more half set because of the medkits.
Yeah.
And now we're looking at 1 gen left.
Not to mention
Larry's ain't
decisive
stopping a nurse in the
body
slightest.
blows coming from Zaka. We're on
I'm just saying,
time.
would you rather be Blood Lodge or Larry's against a nurse? At least this map has line of sight blockers. Most maps have just open areas where you're just completely fucked. So if I had to pick a map to go against nurse, I would prefer to be on Larry's than half the maps in the game.
What? How do they do it?
Oh my god.
How do they keep doing this?
Styptic's paid off in every game in the showcase.
Oh my god.
It's kind
that
of
was a
funny because
very
if you have
well-
killers like Nurse and Blight that basically sometimes have to commit to a hit, then having that Styptic is pretty damn impactful, yeah.
A
the
very
fuck up,
well
Nightlight.
executed- I don't think you really tried to react to it. I think they just went through the motions quick enough. That was crazy, actually. Did Ada pop a syringe? Yeah, I think she did. Keep an eye on Ada in the hood.
How was
I think she
Nurse on Midwife? I just had to stop the video to read that comment because it was so good. How was Nurse on Midwife? I don't know. I'll let you know when she gives birth.
heal in a second? Could it be?
Another one.
Yeah.
Yep, she's fully healed. Oh my god. The
What?
medkits.
What? Blood stop pouring on the ground. And Ada
Okay.
is gone.
So obviously this match goes bad for the Blight. I don't think we have to need to watch the rest because, I mean, that shit's just going to be rough. Interesting that it's purple toolbox and not Commodious. I guess because they want to have the effect of doing 1 gen faster rather than doing a bit more spread out. I guess that makes sense. So here we have a match. Well, no, not really, because if you think about it, like...
Yeah, I just did.
That was a really good part to go back to. So I was going to say the map was the determining factor of why Blight kind of got destroyed there. But not real, because the last map was also super survivor-sided. Asylum is a very, very survivor-sided map. And yet the Spirit was able to very handily win that one, but Spirit is a weaker killer than Blight. Not to say she's weak, she's just a weaker killer. So it's not really that the map was the determining fact. You know what really was the determining factor there? The first Styptic used in that match. Which I guess under his pyramid would go under the resources category. Because the Styptic there was absolutely huge. Whereas against a killer like Spirit, I feel like a Styptic is less impactful. Because the Spirit doesn't really have to like commit to an attack, like a blink attack or a rushed attack. So a Styptic is going to be less impactful against Spirit. Even though the map itself, Asylum, is stronger for Survivor than Larry's, the map allowed for people running out of line of sight and using a Styptic, so the Blight swung into it, not realizing that the Styptic had been used. Because they had more bounces, they just didn't know it was used. Watching the footage, I didn't hear it, I didn't know it was used. So the map, despite being despite the map being worse, well, and again, now it's based on the killer. That's a different discussion. Because overall, Asylum is a worse map for killer than Larry's, doesn't necessarily mean that it's a worse map in the matchups that they had, because Blight on Larry's kind of sucks. I don't know that much about Blight anymore, but I don't remember Blight ever having a good time on Larry's. Larry's just seems like there's a turn and a turn and a turn and a turn, and you're burning all your tokens just catching up, not even like trying to like actually hit them. So yeah, it's like having Billy on Larry's or something like that. It seems like that map is specifically more rough. And then you have to wonder, would they have done better with a weaker killer had they known the map would be... For example, I think Spirit would be due. I think Spirit would have done better than Blight there. I just had an off game and 8 every medkit. See, I don't feel like he made that many glaring mistakes, though, is the issue. Every time he swung into a Styptic, I couldn't hear it. Maybe because I had the volume down, but I couldn't hear that like there was a Styptic used out of line of sight. I'm not sure what he could have really done differently there. Again, I'm not a master blighter even close to it, but I don't really feel like he made that many wrong mistakes. I think MDR Amulet Spirit is weaker than Blight with Compound 33. Yeah, I do, actually. But it depends on the map. On Larry's, no. On Larry's, I think MDR Amulet Spirit is stronger than Blight because she can use her power pretty much freely and not have to worry about, the walls being every 2 feet. It's not that much of a big deal anymore. Boss, thank you for the 4 months. Spirit's better on Larry's. Right, so I guess the discussion I want to have was the most important factor here, the map. And I would say yes. I think Larry's neuters Blight enough to negate how much stronger Blight is. So I think that really just came down to the map that they got. Yes, the styptics were perfectly used, but I think even with that, the Blight would have done significantly better on pretty much any map that wasn't Larry's. So I think that comes down to resources there, which, again, I think resources is at the top, because the Blight is clearly extremely good at the game. So his experience is on the same level, I'm sure, as his opponents, but the resources that the survivors brought were more impactful than his experience at the killer. Therefore, resources goes over experience. I guess I just wanted to bring that back and, circle back to my whole philosophy on his whole pyramid thing, where I think those two things should be switched a little bit. Every time we talk about game balance in DBD, it always comes back to map design being inconsistent. Yep. I mean, I made a video 5 years ago now. The biggest problem in Dead by Daylight is just the maps. If they made the maps balanced, pretty much 90% of this game's balance issues would just cease to exist. So, yeah, that has been the biggest problem with the game since the game's inception. By taking the best players, they're taking experience out of the question. Sure, it's just a net neutral. Yeah, you could go with that if everyone's on the same level of experience. It's not a determining factor whatsoever. I don't think that necessarily negates what I said, but yes, I think that's true. Do you think this year is the worst map design-wise out of the game's history? No. The worst map design in the game's history is when we had infinites on every map and 73 pallets. We're not even close to the worst map design that we've been in. I think a lot of people don't remember how incredibly shit the game was. And I started in 2017. I didn't even see, the true infinites. I just saw, vacuum pallets and double pallets, which were really bad. But I wasn't even there when, the legit infinites were in the game. So it was even worse than that. Anyone know why they put so much random garbage in every map? I ask myself that question every night before I go to bed. It's because they only care about the aesthetics, not the gameplay, I think. Because pretty much every time they do that, the map just gets worse to play on. It might look better. God, do you guys remember? It was 3 years ago, maybe. McMillan used to be the best Huntress map or the best Huntress realm, and then they had one patch where they just added 50 things, just shit everywhere, and that was the patch I stopped playing Huntress because I was I'm so sick of this shit. So they can claim there are less dead zones. Yeah, putting 5 bushes in a tree doesn't make it not a dead zone. It just makes it annoying. It doesn't do anything. I just really wish they didn't prioritize the aesthetics. Dude, the fact that they reworked Mother's Dwelling and didn't make the map smaller are just mind-blowing. That, they've even admitted they know when a map is that big, it's problematic. They know that's a problem. They said that when they changed Pale Rose. And then they had the opportunity to fix it, and they just fucking didn't do it. Whatever. I don't want to move the slider down. It's too much. So they just didn't do it, even though they know it. They know it's an issue, and they just didn't do it. Oh yeah, they said that even more recently with Area Crows. That's right. You think they think it's just funny to have stupid maps that just suck? I think you are 100% correct. I think they know certain maps are bad and they embrace it. They embrace the RNG aspect. It's like the whole concept of having, I don't know, in PoE, the concept of having a bunch of shitty loot to make the good loot that you get feel better, I guess. They're having that dumb mindset. I completely agree with you. I think that is absolutely true. They embrace Cowshed. Exactly. They've joked about Cowshed and how stupid the map is. So they're aware of how bad it is, but they keep it in because I think their true philosophy, I'm making fun of them. Their real philosophy is that worse players should occasionally be able to beat better players because they got better luck. They have openly on record said that. They want that to be a core component of the game, where RNG can make a worse player beat a better player because things just worked out like that for them. They want that to be the case. Not all the time, and in fact, that's the minority of the time, but they want those underdog stories to happen. So I think that's why the game is the way that it is. And why bother with MMR? I don't know. Nobody knows. But yeah, overall, I think with the whole... Where's the pyramid, TM? Yeah, with the whole pyramid, I think this is pretty on point, except resources goes over experience by a little bit. But yeah, that was fun. It was fun watching those games too. That was good stuff.